In the sacred texts of both Christianity and Islam, few figures embody unwavering moral courage and prophetic integrity like Yahya, known in the Bible as John the Baptist. Revered as a prophet in Islam and a forerunner to Christ in Christianity, Yahya's life was marked by asceticism, divine mission, and fearless truth-telling. Yet his story ends not in glory, but in a shocking act of political vengeance. A brutal beheading ordered by a ruler swayed by lust, pride, and a deadly promise. Why was Prophet Yahya killed so brutally? The answer lies not in his actions alone, but in the dangerous intersection of prophetic truth and corrupt power. Who is Prophet? In the Bible, Yahya appears as John the Baptist, the son of Zechariah in Islamic tradition, and Elizabeth, both from priestly lineage. According to the Gospel of Luke 1:5-5, 57-80, his birth was miraculous. Elizabeth was barren and advanced in age, and Zechariah was struck mute by an angel until the child's birth as a sign of divine confirmation. From infancy, John was set apart. He will be great in the sight of the Lord, and he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elisha. Luke 1:15-17. In Islamic tradition, the Quran dedicates several verses to Yahya, Surah Maryam 19:2-15, describing him as a noble, chaste, and righteous prophet, granted wisdom from childhood and filled with compassion and purity. Both faiths agree on his mission to prepare the way for a greater messengeress of Jesus in Islam and Jesus Christ in Christianity. His ministry, a voice in the wilderness. Yahya lived an austere life in the Judean wilderness, wearing clothes of camel's hair and subsisting on locusts and wild honey. Matthew 3-4. He preached repentance, baptized believers in the Jordan River, and called for moral renewal. His message was direct and uncompromising: produce fruit in keeping with repentance. Matthew 3:2-8. He did not spare even the religious elite, calling them a brood of vipers, for relying on ancestry rather than genuine faith. Most significantly, Yahya did not hesitate to confront political and moral corruption even at great personal risk. The confrontation with Herod Antipas. The turning point in Yahya's life came when he publicly condemned Herod Antipas, the tetrarch ruler of Galilee and Perea. According to the Gospels of Matthew 1:4-112 and Mark 6:14-29, Herod had unlawfully married Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, while Philip was still alive. This union violated Jewish law, Leviticus 18:16, 20:21, which prohibited marrying a brother's wife except in very specific circumstances, like levirate marriage, which did not apply here. Yahya declared, "It is not lawful for you to have her." Mark 6:18. Herodias, deeply offended and fearing the prophet's influence, harbored a grudge and sought to kill him. Herod, however, feared Yahya, recognizing him as a righteous and holy man, Mark 6:20, and protected him, even listening to him with perplexed fascination. But protection was not enough. The banquet, the dance, and the beheading. The brutal end came during a birthday banquet Herod hosted for his courtiers, military commanders, and prominent citizens. Herodias' daughter, traditionally named Salome, though unnamed in the Bible, danced before the guests. Pleased, Herod rashly swore an oath. "Ask me for whatever you wish, and I will give it to you. Up to half my kingdom." Mark 6:22-23. Prompted by her mother, the girl asked for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Though greatly distressed, Herod felt bound by his oath and the presence of his guests. To save face, he ordered the execution. That very night, a soldier beheaded Yahya in prison, and his head was delivered to the girl, who gave it to her mother. Mark 6:27-28. Thus, a prophet who spoke truth to power was silenced not in battle, not by divine judgment, but by the whim of a ruler entangled in sin, pride, and political theater. Why so brutal? The symbolism of the beheading. The brutality of Yahya's death was not accidental. Beheading was a Roman and Hellenistic method of execution often reserved for high status prisoners, or used to send a message. In this case, it served multiple purposes: immediate and irreversible. Unlike stoning or crucifixion, beheading ensured instant death, no chance of rescue or public sympathy building. Humiliation. presenting the head on a platter turned a sacred prophet into a grotesque trophy, satisfying Herodias' vengeance. Political expediency. Herod eliminated a critic without appearing to act out of fear or guilt, masking murder as fulfillment of a rash promise. Yet, in both Christian and Islamic tradition, Yahya's death is not seen as a defeat, but as martyrdom. Jesus himself later said of John, "Among those born of women there is not risen anyone greater than John the Baptist." Matthew 11:11. Islamic perspective. Yahya as a martyr of truth. While the Quran does not detail Yahya's death, Islamic scholars based on hadith and historical commentaries, like those of Ibn Kathir, affirm that he was martyred for upholding divine law. His unwavering stance against injustice, even at the cost of his life, exemplifies the Islamic ideal of amor bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, enjoining good and forbidding evil. His story serves as a timeless reminder. Speaking truth to corrupt authority often carries a price, but silence in the face of injustice carries a greater one. Legacy. A light that could not be extinguished, though his life was cut short. Yahya's legacy endured. His baptism of Jesus marked the beginning of Christ's public ministry. His voice in the wilderness echoed through centuries as a symbol of moral clarity. Churches, monasteries, and shrines were built in his honor across the Middle East and Europe. In Islam, he remains one of the honored prophets, mentioned by name in the Quran 5 times. His brutal death did not silence his message, it amplified it. Conclusion. Prophet Yahya. John the Baptist was killed not because he was violent, rebellious, or politically ambitious, but because he dared to say, "This is wrong," to those in power. His beheading was an act of political convenience, moral cowardice, and personal vengeance. Yet history remembers not Herod or Herodias, but the prophet who chose truth over survival. In a world still grappling with corruption, moral compromise, and the silencing of dissenting voices, Yahya's story remains profoundly relevant. It challenges us. Will we speak when justice demands it, even if it costs us everything? His blood cried out from the earth, not in despair, but as a witness. And that witness continues to echo through time.